tells me about your word on Sundays. I never go, but tell them I'll go with them one day. They say you have the answers I've been longing for, but somehow I don't feel like I'm on one accord with you. I believe you have something for me alone. Humbly, Lord, how do I approach the throne? Cause all I have to offer, Lord, is it enough? I give you my trust. I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dried the eyes of many, healed more hearts, have love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? I heard how you saved Daniel from the lion's den, and stayed with Jonah in the well he was within. I need the protection, I know I'm not worthy. I'm in a state of desperation, Lord, I need that mercy. I believe you have something for me alone. Humbly, Lord, how do I approach the throne? Cause all I have to offer, Lord, is it enough? I give you my trust. I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dried the eyes of many, healed more hearts, have love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Can you take me in? I heard you won't dry the eyes of many, heal more hearts, love for plenty. Can you take me in? Can you take me in? I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Can you take me in? I heard you dry the eyes of many, heal my heart. Can you take me in? I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dry the eyes of many, heal more hearts, have love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me?
You're listening to Launch with Kim
and Dr. Newt on Praise.fm.
Welcome to Launch
with Kim
and Dr. Newt.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
I have to laugh every single time we sing that.
Why she laughing?
I'm not laughing at you. It's just so funny because you be like serious about singing that.
She laughing at me, y'all. I'm gonna tell my mom.
Oh Lord, she gonna take my slide.
Yeah, she is.
She gonna take my side, y'all. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend and
that's the problem when you get married, fellas. Moms like the wife better.
I don't know about all the moms.
You gotta share your Christmas gifts. Share your birthday present.
No.
Yeah, man.
She still like you. Mm-hmm. She just like me too.
Mm-hmm.
She just like me a whole lot.
I know. Kim, I'll be talking to her. She hear Kim in the background, voice light all up.
She know I done helped her.
Oh,
I done helped her with her baby. You her baby. So
Yeah.
I helped her out. Like, I'll take him off your hands. Let me get him together.
That's my mom.
Goddamn my mama. Oh God. So hi everybody.
We never had problems with in-laws.
In-laws.
That wasn't our
Nope,
thing.
we didn't. Nope. That's a good thing. Because not too many people can say that. Because sometimes you have some issues with in-laws. You know, they be outlaws instead.
That wasn't the issue of my first marriage.
Did you have problems?
I didn't have problems.
Okay. But there was some
There
problems.
was problems.
And
but I didn't have
that's unfortunate. Sometimes it's just based upon the chemistry of the people and what the expectations for the relationship.
Sometimes mom know who you're supposed to be with and not supposed to be with.
Well,
Sometimes.
Well, I would have to say that might be a little bit true. You know, speaking on as a mother, you know, look, our kids been and got on here and got a little salty with us, but I'm just saying, you know, as a mother, sometimes I do feel like my kids, you know,
as a father too.
that I have a better,
I'm not gonna like this one. I'm not gonna be nice to this one.
Yeah, I think
Y'all pray for us.
you know, I have done
Y'all pray
that.
for us. We ain't never said we were perfect now.
No, yeah, let's talk about that. We definitely
Never
are
said
not
we
that.
perfect. Never said we were perfect.
Mm-mm.
I'm close though.
Oh, are you? Well, won't you tell us how that's working for you? Since you close.
As long as I stay in this room, it works real good.
Oh, okay, long as you're here by yourself. In your own professional area. In your own perfection. Okay, all right.
But welcome to launch, you guys.
Hi, Tori.
Welcome to launch, and welcome to the first day of the greatest month in the history of time. We call it, what is this month?
This is February.
What is February?
Chocolate history.
Oh, I was going to say, you haven't been out west too
No,
long.
I haven't.
You know, where there's no
I haven't been
HBCUs or anything like that. Y'all know what HBCUs are. Need to fill them up. Our HBCUs are going under
They are.
because of admissions.
They are.
Because of admissions, and you know, in our
Sorry.
PWIs, which are called predominantly white institutions, are growing by leaps and bounds and raising the tuition.
Oh my.
So you come out of college at 22 years old with a $60,000
Yeah, no, that's a problem.
bill.
I know that's right.
You know.
That's a problem.
But anyway, that's another conversation for another time.
Our daughter Tori is on. See,
Tori.
she might have heard it because you know there's a delay. She might have heard that where the parents think they know.
Well, nah, it's Rocky the man.
Yeah, so I think I know that he was the right
I'm
one.
trying to learn from Rocky. Tell me something.
But it's funny, parents sometimes they kind of have a little bit of a,
Kind
you
of.
know, they kind of know, you know, like that relationship is going to work good or not because you know your child.
Yeah.
Unless your child has, you know, matured.
Or what you see ain't what it is.
Okay.
You know,
So
sometimes as a principal, anybody who's worked in a school, you know that the child you see at school
Come on
is
now.
not the child that's at home.
Well, Joy said she heard it.
So
She heard it.
So sometimes, you know, you think you know your child and you really don't. I can't, man, I wish I had 5 hours for every time somebody came and said to me, my child wouldn't do that. I know my child.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have at least $1,500.
We were one of them.
Yeah.
Tori, you remember that? We said Tori didn't do that. Our daughter would not do that.
She said.
He didn't think so either. We went up to the school.
Some of the stuff I still don't believe.
We was fussing at the people, you know. And that baby had us fooled.
Yep. I choked the principal once, the assistant principal. I stood over the desk at him. He's a little kind of little guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, behind our daughter.
He was clear. He was clear. Dude, I stood over top of him on purpose.
Yeah, she's laughing. Look, she's laughing because she knows she did it.
I was a different dude.
Hi, Tisha. That's my niece, Letitia. Happy belated birthday, baby. She just had her birthday.
Is she?
She celebrated her birthday.
All
Yeah.
right. Did she make a T-shirt for that?
I don't know, Tish. Did you
Tisha.
make a birthday T-shirt?
Yeah. Put your
T-shirt
Yeah,
stuff.
T-shirt business in the chat.
I'm eating tonight,
so
y'all.
we can
With
give
my
some prices.
rice.
I'm sorry, you guys. We kind of freestyling tonight. That's all right. I know we're teachers. We usually prepare and have a bunch of stuff. We do have some stuff, but
We just want to share.
Yeah.
It's like a talk
yeah, I'm like in that mood, you know.
where you just want to talk. Well, Newt and I talk all the time. Like we just sit down and just be having long, drawn-out conversations
Yeah.
and laughing at our own stuff
When I got work to do.
when we have work to do. And that's why that message last week about procrastination was for us first.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm in a slump. I don't know if anybody else feels that, but I know how to get out of it, and that's the issue. That's the thing. I just won't do it. I know exactly what to
You're
do.
welcome, sweetie.
And like increase my productivity overnight.
hmm
And in 1 week's time, I won't even.
She said she's wearing her shirt, Newt.
You wearing your
That's
shirt?
right,
That's what I'm
Tish.
talking about. Do you have a business,
Mhm.
Tish? In a way people can contact you or
For
see
those
your
T-shirts.
stuff. Okay, there it is.
There it is.
It's, I can't
Color
see
Me
that part.
Pretty.
Color Me Pretty Hub.
Color Me Pretty Hub.
Hub, H-U-B, right?
There's no H there. .com.
Oh, Color Me Pretty Up. Color Me Pretty
UB.com.
.com.
Yeah.
You want some T-shirts? I think she custom makes them.
Yes, she does, and
For
they're
you.
really cute.
Yep,
She
in
made a
bulk
couple.
and single, and she does a good job. It's them good shirts that fit nice, not the ones that be all wide and the back raise up. Don't you hate when you go buy a
Oh my
shirt
goodness,
at the expo or something?
See, why you got to say the expo?
I said at a expo, you know, and the emblem that they put on there is like hot, and then you open the shirt up and it's a
Don't
big
fit
giant
right.
square.
But there's a way to fix that. Yes.
For girls.
Oh, she said, do you bling the T-shirts? Lady Rain wants to know, do you bling them? If Tish doesn't, I know another person that does bling them, but you're going to have to be specific about T-shirts. The T-shirt, yeah, there it is. Unique Boutique. Yes.
Unique Boutique. Oh, that's what UB stands for.
Unique
Okay.
Boutique. That's
Color Me
wonderful.
Pretty UB.com. So it's in the name, Unique Boutique, meaning
Yes.
she'll uniquely design your shirt. So
That's
you got a graphic artist and T-shirt maker at the same kind of blended that together.
Well, she'll
Synergy.
figure out a way to make it look great on you.
Yeah, she'll make it coordinate.
Lady Rain says she loves the bling. I know, I love the bling tees too, Lady Rain. I love them.
Yeah.
So guys, Newt said a key word today. He
Okay.
said the word perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. And I was asking him, how's that working for him? And our situation in our life and our world is just not perfect. It's just not.
No.
But
No.
we live in a life of where we're moving towards perfection. So
Right.
we keep moving. Some things that we had to ask ourselves the other day because we got so much going on. We're exhausted, we're tired. Sometimes you don't feel like getting up. Sometimes you're staying up late to get things done. And it's like, you know, are we what was this you said? Are we going through depression?
Yeah, I said, am I depressed?
Am I depressed? Is this
Something wrong with
anxiety?
me?
Am I stressing because of all that's happening and how my new normal looks so different and I don't like it so much?
I had to ask myself.
Yeah.
You know? And I think for me, it really was about me. And I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about managing myself.
hmm
Because you can't manage time.
Right.
Everyone gets 24 hours,
hmm
and it's 24 hours. It's what you do
In that 24
with yourself
hours.
in that 24 hours. How you plan, how you
Right.
put things together, how you organize and structure yourself, your
Mhm.
activities, mentally, physically, spiritually, and I just in all honesty, in all transparency, I guess the last month maybe,
hmm
I just haven't done a good job with that. Just
Because
haven't done a good job.
yeah, I think what it is after you've been in for so long, and the other part of us being in, we're on the East Coast, and it is cold, and it's either raining or snowing, or you're
Right.
kind of like really in.
Yeah. And I think also, well, we're not. I think that, but when you
She sent you. a friend
when
request.
you learn how to categorize your life and organize things, and you're operating, at a good efficiency,
Mhm.
through whether it's planning, whether it's scheduling. Those are some of the things that I like to use: goal setting,
Mhm.
prioritizing big rocks and things like that in your life. and then you don't do it, like you get lazy, just for that, since Christmas break, I think that's when it started for me. You just kind of get lazy because you don't have to do stuff,
Yeah.
And it's you can totally
Yep.
feel the difference.
Yes, you can.
You totally feel the difference in you.
Mhm.
And so I started noticing that, and that's why I said to Kim, am I depressed? Well, it's not really that. I think it was more, I'm just not optimizing. I'm not doing what I know I'm supposed to do
Mhm.
so that I can operate.
Mhm.
I've created a pattern or a process for myself.
So would you say that, and I don't know how any of you guys feel like when you're, because it being so busy, would you say that you do better under pressure because you're going to get it done than you do when you have all this time?
Well, and you know what? And I think that's psychological. That's a good point. I think it's like, because people say that I work better under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually studies that show the opposite. Well, not the opposite, but that's not necessarily true. And the study was done with teachers. And it was done with teachers, and it was grading papers. So the teacher had, let's say, 20, 25 papers to grade, and usually it would take them, let's say, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
They would spread it out over 3 days, right?
Right.
To grade those papers, 5-page papers, 25 papers. That's 25 pages or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, I remember grading mine.
So they would spread it out over 3 days. So they did a study where they said, no, you're not going to have 3 days. You're going to have like half that amount of time to be able to do this. So what the teachers did then is, because they knew they only had half the amount of time to do it, they changed their system, right? So and they were able to get it done, and there was no corners cut.
Okay.
So it wasn't like the quality didn't go down. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that what they found from that study is that we as human beings can meet the challenge that's put in front of us.
That's good.
It's the challenge and the time are not the issue. It's what we do,
With it.
how we plan, what we put in place, what we move out the way, and how we focus. So I'm not sure as if people operate better under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I think pressure's there, so you have to operate.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So you do. But the same thing could happen if the pressure wasn't there, if you had yourself on a schedule. So I know, like, Tori's on here, she's really good at that.
Organizing.
Organizing and structuring her day and the things around her in her environment. And because she structures her environment
Yeah.
with all the little containers and and everything's in its place, her daily activities are structured that way as well.
It's much more simpler when things are already organized and in place. That's so true.
Right.
Very, very true. So those of you who are on, please share and like the page.
Right.
Please share and like. We're going to talk a little bit more about something. There was a conversation we had. But there's been questions. People have asked us some questions over some years about relationship and our relationship.
Right.
And I guess sometimes people look at you
Right.
and they think, oh,
Right.
y'all have it together. Hi, Kai.
Talking about Tori.
And they think, oh, you got it all together.
Right.
People just assume by your looks,
Yeah.
or if that you're
Right.
smiling at each other, or how you relate, or how you communicate.
Right.
People start to say, oh, that because it looks a certain way,
Right.
they got it all together. Oh, interesting.
Exactly.
Tori says she can't focus if she's not organized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't focus if she's not organized.
Right.
So that goes back to what we're
Mhm.
saying. So kind of switching gears, and so like when I see Lady Rain and her husband, I'm like, oh, they got it together,
Right.
right? But I don't know.
You don't know.
I've never even been to their house.
Right. And you only know what you see.
Right.
So that's why I mean, quickly we form this judgment, or we place this stamp on
Right.
people.
Right.
And we say
Based
this
on labels, external things.
external things.
That's
We
the
say this
society
is
we live in.
right.
That's the
This
society
is
we live in.
this is the way it's supposed to be, or that looks how I want mine like that.
Right.
I want this.
Right.
They are happy.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, and this is kind of veering down a rabbit trail a little bit. But Kim and I, for some years, I've done a thing called a minute of medicine for your mind.
Mhm.
I've done a thing called Getting Fit at 50. Kim has life. What's it called?
Leap into life.
Leap into life.
But Getting Fit at 50 started with me.
Yeah, that's hers. I stole it.
He stole it.
What's hers is mine.
We shared it.
Right. So, but I'm saying, and then Ami's World and all these things which are content rich, things that are there to help grow you from the inside out, mentally, physically, spiritually, so you can achieve your goals and get better at being you, right? Mm-hmm. And we will watch our likes and watch our comments, and they were small, not a lot,
right?
No, we didn't stop and aren't going to stop because of that.
Because I could care less.
But here's what I'm saying is, just the other week, last week I think it was, I was actually I had to send somebody a headshot for a speaking engagement that's coming up for me, right? And I saw the picture of Kim and I, right? So I just decided, this is cool. Let me post this.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember.
No, just let me post this. It's like 500 likes. Not exaggerating, right? And then, so I'm like, wait a minute, we've been working real hard for y'all. And we get 6, 7, 14, and they're like, wait a minute, this is just a picture. Right? And thank you for liking it. I felt love.
It's okay.
I felt good.
Right.
That's why I put a shirt on today. Picked my fro out.
Yeah, we went old school.
Right.
Old school Bobby fro it.
But my point is that we are a visual society.
That's right.
And we look for entertainment. We look to be pleased. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as there's a deeper meaning that comes out. So Kim was getting there to say, and I'm just going to kind of break it there. So like we often get comments, and one of the ones we hear a lot is, "Are y'all really happy? Are y'all really happy like that?
Can people really be happy?"
Yeah, because when people see us, we're laughing, and joking,
grinning at each other,
and
we do that in the house anyhow.
Right. Well, we might be laughing at you. No, but they're like, "Can y'all really be? Are y'all really happy?" Right. Wow. So we're going to pose a question, and I often want to do this because like we're teachers and we teach Socratically, both of us do. So when a student asks us a question, we'll basically throw that question back to the class, to get some input. So what does happy mean?
Right.
What does happy look like? What's it mean? Why are you asking? Not why you ask me that, but when you ask me, am I happy? What does that mean?
To you.
To you.
Right. Yeah. Because everybody's going to have their own definition.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Yes, the Lord is concerned about the total man, spirit, soul, and body. We need balance within the body of Christ.
Exactly.
He's talking about that organization. You're so right, Pastor Clay. And thank you for tuning in again today. So New posed the question, what is happy?
Yeah. What's that mean to you?
Because we are visual people. We have digital everything. And what we see, we respond to immediately.
Right.
And we form opinions based upon what we see.
Right.
So if our image is, yes, laughter is a good medicine. If the image we post, or let's say we get on here and we're like this, I don't even know if I can do it. We're like, we looking at each other like.
No, we can get those faces, but it got to be something happening.
Yeah, we got to be serious, because most of the times it's not like that. But if we're on here like, no, you should have said this, and he's like that, and my neck is going and stuff, and he's like punching on the table and saying this, and this, then you want to form another opinion.
Right.
Because we look at what we see, and we just make an assumption.
Right. So you said something earlier today when we was talking about, you said it's not everybody's business.
Yeah, okay, so for example, if Newt and I are having a conversation, whether on here or whatever, and I'm in public, I may not say to Newt that I didn't like what he had to say. Okay. That ain't everybody's business.
Right?
But when I do say it, it's between he and I.
So what she said I thought was real cool. She said, I may not like what you do or say.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I don't like you.
Exactly.
And that flows into Akai Yul. She just put up when we said, what does happy mean? She said, happy is the all good feelings. In other words, even though the feelings might be fleeting, I'm all good. I can handle it. So it's kind of still like, I may not like what you say or do,
Right.
That don't mean I don't like you.
Right. Like there's times when I don't like things that Newt says or how he might joke or he might something he might I guess you didn't know. I guess you didn't know. or he might not like things that I say. And we do, listen, we are husband and wife. We tell each other. But I don't need to tell you his flaws. As a matter of fact, it's not even something that you should be concerned with.
Right.
Because we have so much of ourselves that we need to fix that if I start telling you all these things about him, your focus is off of you.
Right.
And what I say, what like Newt said, just because I'm not happy with that comment don't mean I'm not happy with the person.
Yes,
I love this person.
Right.
So, and I'm going to smile at him anyway. When he make me mad, I still be smiling or laughing because sometimes he does something that I'll be like, he is a mess. And I laugh.
What?
But the truth is, I'm not going to not like him because of a comment.
Right. So that word happy is relative.
Definitely relative.
You have to define what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of where we're going with it.
And then you got to be careful about the word. Because it's a simple feeling. An example, I got up this morning, I was happy to be alive.
Right.
But when I came downstairs and looked out and saw the snow, I wasn't so happy about all that daggone snow out there. And the fact that it was snowing on top of snow from the day before. So do you see how quick that feeling changed?
Right. So Kim is saying that she's moving at is a lot of people will take that word happy. What's it mean to be happy in a relationship? And they'll base it on feelings.
Yeah.
And that's a gigantic mistake.
Definitely.
Because feelings change at the drop of a dime.
Seconds.
Anything can happen and the feeling will change.
Mm-hmm. If Newt take my candy bar and he know I've been waiting on it, my feeling gonna change.
Or even if I didn't know she was waiting on it, and she had that taste in her mouth.
I mean, like, you ate my candy bar, bro. Oh my God.
Or you grew up. If you had kids in the house and y'all had that Kool-Aid pitcher and you got your mouth fixed for that Kool-Aid and you go in the refrigerator and it's just a little bit of drop in there. Like, what's Kool-Aid? The Kool-Aid.
Make the Kool-Aid.
You know it wasn't nothing there for no drink.
No, an example, my baby boy and Newt and I, we would go to eat. We would take them all to eat and everybody would get what they wanted. And I would always have leftover because I always got the stuffed shrimp, which was stuffed with crab and all kinds of delicious stuff. And I would only eat half. And I would put it in the refrigerator for myself for later because it was mine. And later on, I would come down and open the refrigerator and it would be gone.
Gone.
And my son would eat it.
60 seconds.
Yes, in a matter of seconds, it would be gone. So the Kai's cracking up laughing because she knows it's to be the truth.
How do people do that?
But he would take it and eat it like right away. Now I'm not going to dislike him, but I'm be like, Dad, bro, why did you eat my food? It was mine. You could put your name on it. And he still would eat it. But nonetheless, I'm not going to not love him because he did something.
So let me take that concept a little bit further.
Go ahead.
Because there's something you said earlier today that I remember. You said something about when you start a relationship, you should have really a selfish desire.
There should be some selfish desires that first motivates you.
So
Number one.
A relationship, so you got 3 words there. Relationship, selfish, and desire. Those 3 words don't go together.
They don't sound so nice, but let's just be honest. When you first look at the person that you're interested in, that is something you feel inside. That's a desire. You like them. You desire that person. It's your own selfish feelings that you have inside of you, And then when you establish that relationship, for us women, when you want to be married, you think, I want to get married. I want to be married to this person. I want them to have this. You start to name this list, and it's your own personal. People don't like the word selfish, but personal, that pretty much means the same thing. It's what you want.
So how does that help the relationship longevity?
Well, it helps the relationship longevity because, like, when we get married, I remember that that desire, that thing that I wanted. I loved him. I chose him. Here are all the I's. I want to establish covenants with him. I want to grow old together with him. I want to build something great with him. these are the things that stay in the forefront of my mind. So if he does something that bothers me or upsets me, I don't get rid of the relationship because I remember the desires, the covenant, the promise, what I want to see happen later on in the relationship. I don't get rid of him because that thing is supposed to help fuel me and me to remember why we got married, how it all started.
So did you know the word desire, D means of, or it also means to retract or to pull away, like descend means to go down, devalue means to take the value down, right, to take out. And that word sire means to cause birth, of a thing. You sire a child, you cause birth of a thing, right? So when you put the desire together, it means actually to take away the birth of a thing. Right, is one meaning that could be used. So when you have desire for a thing, you're taking away the birth of anything else that could be. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Right. So that's why I thought it was real heavy when you said that selfish desire for the relationship means that you're taking away the birth of anything that would get in between that relationship.
And and I know people don't really like that. Well, you shouldn't be selfish in your relationship. No, I'm talking about you shouldn't be use those things to remind you of the love and the companionship and the covenant that you established.
Oh, that's cool.
Use that.
Yes.
That should be the thing that's fueling you to remember. No, I don't like that she said this, or I don't like that he did this. But the whole purpose for the relationship was this thing. We have established this covenant, and that's the thing I've wanted. I wanted this. And then there's things that I want after we establish the covenant. I want longevity.
So if I can cause the birth of those things, then other things won't grow.
Yeah, you can stop some of that other foolishness from happening.
Now you were talking about a towel. What was the?
Yeah, because we were talking about people who are getting separating right away, or getting a divorce, or they're breaking up their relationship, and they haven't been at it long, or they've been at it, or they could have been at it for a long time, but they throw in the towel before they know how to hold it. And that's how I say it. So we know that the towel serves a purpose to dry you off, but it also serves another purpose where it can soak up something. It also, my physical therapist uses it for something else. It has many purposes. But sometimes we get caught up in the one purpose of the towel.
Wait.
So we throw it in.
Who's your physical therapist using the towel? I need to show up at
No, the physical therapist uses it to stretch. When he's doing my leg stretch, he uses it to stretch me. So there's another purpose for it. People are throwing in the towel before they even know how to hold the towel. You don't even know what else the towel can do.
Right.
You got rid of the relationship. Some people got married, then they got married again. They never got healing from the first relationship, or some people came out of a real bad situation and never worked on getting healed before they moved into the next one. That was our story. We shared that. So we had to do the work. So you try to move on, you can be married for 25 years. I know people divorced after 20-some years.
Right.
And they threw in the towel. They didn't know how to hold the towel. They forgot the covenant. They forgot their selfish desire to build relationship and to the promise that you made. You forgot. And so you got rid of it before it had a chance to really be what it was supposed to be. You know how you say sometimes that a person, if they maybe go to jail or they do something and their life stops, that when they come out or whenever they're ready to start their life again, they start at that particular age.
Whenever there's a traumatic event.
Yes, so think about that. You had a traumatic situation in a relationship. You go on and get married or move on.
Wow.
Guess what? Cool. You start from there.
Yep.
If you don't get healing, you start from there.
Right.
So you're throwing in the towel before you know how to hold it, before you understand. You're getting rid of, let me say it this way, you're getting rid of your marriage before you know how to maneuver it.
Yes.
before you know how to live in it,
Right.
before you know how to build it and
Right.
to establish it.
Right.
You get rid of it too
And
fast.
many of us will jump into another one.
And jump into another one.
Yeah.
Guess what? You stopped right there, and you jumped into that relationship at the same space that you were when you left the other one.
Mhm.
You bring all that foolishness with you. That's why we call our book Baggage Claim, because you have got to start and stop and look and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I keep jumping ship and moving to the next ship. Listen, it's called relationship.
And it-
How you relate and get over. So you jump to the next ship.
Wow.
You don't even know how. So you're throwing away the marriage without knowing what marriage is, what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
So
right.
let's see.
She's talking about the
Desire. That's right, Ty.
Right. So
Thank
with-
you, baby.
So I like to use the example, and I think I have before. You take a table, because we in my mom's house there was this table. It's still there. Been there since I was a kid, and there's all kinds of stuff on the table. I mean, all kinds.
It's not as bad as it used to be.
Not as bad as it used
It's
to be.
stuff on the
It's
table.
still bad though.
We talk about my
Right?
mother-in-law.
So my mom, if you ask my mom for something, she knows right where it is on
yes,
that
she
table.
does.
So it's like a organized mess,
Mhm.
right? So
She gonna get
right when it comes time to clean, right? At Christmas time and stuff, what she would do, she wouldn't take anything off the table. She would just neaten up the piles, right? And then when people got there for Christmas or whatever, they would just kind of eat around the piles,
you. Mhm.
right? So jumping from one relationship to another one, in my mind, that's the visual I get.
Mhm.
You never really cleaned off the table,
Yeah.
you know, so you just put more stuff on the table.
Mhm.
And when you put more stuff on the table, here's what would happen: is while people were eating or whatever, they were looking at the stuff that was on the table and messing with it.
Mm.
So my point is, unless you claim your baggage and clear off the table and understand what it was, like you said, understand the towel,
Mhm.
then while you're eating your new meal, you're going to be playing with the old stuff
So
that's
you're
on the
still
table.
bringing that same stuff, living that same thing, acting the same way, talking the same way, treating that person the same way.
And not even intentional.
Not even
It's
intentional.
just there, so you interact with it.
It's something, because when I think about relationships, and you said something, we were talking about.
And this is
something
not
the other
even just
day.
marriage.
No.
This is even
This is-
pre-marriage.
Right.
This
Oh,
is
yeah,
this is
yeah,
even
yeah,
friendships.
Yeah.
This is even going from job to job with employers.
You
or-
gotta deal with your
yes,
stuff.
it's a relationship. This applies to every relationship.
You were mentioning how sometimes we look at things, and once we already have a view,
Right.
once we already we got a certain way we looking through those lenses.
Right.
That's the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
This has a spot in it. I can see it. This is this way. We can't see nothing else because we've already established that it looks this way.
Mhm.
So we try to move on in this new thing, and we can't.
Because that's all you see.
That's all you see
Mhm.
is what you see.
What you see is what you get, and you ain't seen nothing yet.
And that's funny, but that is so true. That what you see, so not just in your physical, but in your spiritual mindset,
Mhm.
wherever you are, guess what? That's what you're going to get.
Yes, yes.
Because that's all you believe.
And it's biblical. That's biblical
Mhm.
because we were made in God's image, and in His likeness. God is a creator. He's an innovator. He can establish something from nothing. And He said, "You made us in His image, His likeness, so we can do what He does the way He does it.
Mhm.
So we can create a thing."
Mhm.
And
In your mind.
in
too.
this realm, the earthly realm, we can create a thing, and the one thing that we have dominion over first, before what's outside of us, is what's inside of us, so our mind.
Mhm.
So it's called confirmation bias, if you need a psychological term. It's called confirmation bias. So what happens is if we're looking at our spouse or at our partner or
Mhm.
somebody, and it's something we don't like, or something we're supposing, or something we're looking for, or we're watching to see,
Yeah, we already done named it.
you're going to find it.
Yeah.
And even if it's not there, you're still going to find it because you created it.
And you already see it. So when New says what you see,
Mm-hmm.
what was it Israel Newbury that said, say what you see so you can see what you say?
Mm-hmm.
So truth be told, if you start saying the things that you see or that you saw before in this new relationship, then you are going to see those things in this new relationship, because what you see
What
is
you get.
exactly what you will get.
Mhm.
So if you don't see any good in it, then guess what? You'll get no good out of it.
So the reason why we kind of skipped around a little bit, I had asked Kim a question. I said, what would you say to someone who was contemplating divorce? What would you say to them?
And I said, the first thing is I would ask them why. What is it that the divorce, separation, what is it that the divorce is going to do that's going to make you better?
Right.
First of all, think of that. Why?
Mhm.
Why is going to always be my question. Why do you feel like the divorce is going to help you to be okay?
Right.
And if the divorce is because right now you can't, you just can't get along right now, then is it that you need the separation?
It's based on feelings.
Do you need some time away from each other? Because the divorce is final.
Right.
Well, some people it's
Right.
final.
Right.
Or do you just need space away? Because when you get that space away, it makes you see things a little differently.
Yeah, you can see things differently.
Yeah, because you're not in that person's space. You guys aren't arguing. That's right, selfish protect. But you're not arguing. Preferences. You're not arguing. You're not having a disagreement. You're staying away from that person. So now you have time to think.
Right. You can see something
You're
different.
going to see something different. And let me tell you what happened. Go ahead.
Which means you can begin to create something different.
Mhm.
You cannot create what you cannot see.
Mhm.
Right. So Kim's had I thought she was gonna say it, but she
I
said why.
didn't.
She said why do you want to get divorced? Then she said a statement I thought was really powerful. She said, how will it heal you?
That's right. That's the other part.
I was like, wow.
How is the divorce
It's going to heal you.
going to heal you?
Yeah, you, all of you.
You. Because the divorce it's a signed document, meaning that you don't have to be with this person, and by law they don't have to do this, and by law you
Right.
don't have to do this.
Right.
But that space away from each other,
Mhm.
that space away creates a healing.
Yeah.
It will.
Mhm.
It will cause a healing.
Yes. It lets you see a new you're in another vantage point. You see things that I don't know how to even say it. It's like blinders are taken off of you.
Well, we went through it.
Right.
So listen, guys, when we talk about this kind of stuff, it's because this is stuff that we went
Yeah,
through.
I'm not guessing. I ain't
Yeah, this
guessing.
is real stuff. So we had like a year
Yep.
away from each other. We didn't have a conversation about a divorce
No.
at all.
Never came
We
up.
just took that time away
Not that deep.
because that deep word. Because I needed to think, Newt needed to think. He needed to work on him, I needed to work on me. That separating time gives you a chance to see the other person differently.
Yeah.
It softens the pain that you felt. It also helps you to remember. See, when you've been away from somebody for a little while, you start to look at them and think, man,
Yep.
remember we used to do this? Or that was fun.
Stuff you took for granted.
Yes.
You know.
It reminds you of that. I know people who went back into relationships because of that.
I had to make the bed up.
Yeah.
All
Oh, yeah, team too much right here. But there it is. You start to remember the whole purpose of the relationship and why. Your personal desires, what you wanted.
Right.
You know, and then you start to remember that covenant. Man, I wanted
So you
that.
got to think remember. So remember means remember again, memory again,
Mhm.
right? And your memory is part of your imagination, right? You can imagine things from your memory.
Mhm.
You can imagine forward from what was there in the past, right? And the imagination is the largest nation that will ever exist.
That's right. It's the biggest nation in the world.
It's boundless. There's no
Mhm.
boundaries to it. So
And you definitely need that space. Now I'm not saying that if it's an abusive situation.
right. That was my
Okay,
next question.
That's completely
That's my
different.
next question, because my question was going to be, so like we old school, so the old folks used to have a saying, well, you got to take the bitter with the sweet,
Mhm.
baby, you know.
Why you have to talk like an old person
You
and
got to
do
take
that?
the bitter with the sweet.
And that's
It's okay.
true.
And so there's some truth to that,
There is truth to that.
but are there limits to that? Is there a ceiling?
Well, if any time the bitter is making you forget what God said about you,
Ooh,
anytime you just can't
Ooh.
think anything good about you,
ooh,
and you have forgotten the promises of God for you, and you forgot that He made you and you were beautifully and wonderfully made, and all you can see is ugly in you. You can't see anything good in you or that other person. then that is when the bitter has overtaken the sweet. You need some space away.
Wow. Can I jump in?
Yeah, please jump
so
in.
Kim said whenever it takes you away from what God said about you. So I want to speak to our listeners. We have a lot of listeners that aren't necessarily, I'm going to say, churched, right? So when Kim said God said about you, we're not talking about what religion or a church will put in place for you. We're talking about your purpose, your isness, who you are, that piece of you that you've been in touch with, just that automatic thing about you that's been designed in you. That's what she's talking about.
Yes.
So when your self-image and self-esteem, your feelings about yourself, when all those things like that are compromised, then it's not a good place.
And you need that space. Now, physical stuff, you get out of there right away.
Yeah.
That's it. You get out of that situation right away.
Don't call the prayer warriors.
No.
If he bumping you upside your head.
Or you busting him.
Yeah, or you busting him. Don't call the prayer warriors and ask them to pray for you. Don't cause my,
Get up out of there. Let
call call 2 men in a truck. Get the getting, Nicolette. I mean, because your physical safety, you got to take care of that first.
That's right.
Because we're in this physical realm. God made us, we're spirits in a physical body. So the only way we can exist in this realm is in our physical body. So you got to take care of that. And I don't even want to rabbit trail with what you're putting in.
Get out of that situation and then call the prayer warriors.
Yes.
Call them to pray after you're gone. Okay? So we ain't telling you not to have the prayer warriors. You need folks praying. But you also need to be wise. So that situation, anytime you're being abused, taking out of your normal use of what you're made for, created for, then that situation is toxic and you need not be in that situation.
Right.
But another toxic situation that we're talking about where space is needed is when you have forgotten who you are. And in that relationship, you just can't even see any good in you. Then you need some space. I'm not saying to get away from them. I'm saying so that you can get inside of you.
Right.
You need some space away. So when Newt and I had our separation time, it wasn't for me to make sure Newt got his stuff together or for him to make sure I got my stuff together. It was time for me to get me together.
Yes.
Now I can finally see me, because a woman's desire is going to be for her husband. So when I'm not in that house and I can focus on me, then guess what? I can get my stuff together. And Newt now has to get his stuff together, because what the outside thing was that was helping is no longer there. Now it's exactly.
You remove those weights.
Yes.
That so easily beset you. Whatever that is.
Whatever it is.
And I can almost guarantee you, when you get by yourself, you're going to find out that you are part of that weight.
You the issue.
Yeah. You the poser.
Issue. Issue.
Right. But anyway, so I had another question for Kim. So what would you say to somebody who's contemplating marriage?
And the first thing I would say is why? Why do you want to get married? What is it that a marriage is going to do that is going to make you better than who or what you are now? What expectations do you have for that person that's going to be in covenant with you? And then I would ask them, what do you know about covenant?
Yeah.
What does marriage look like? What do you think marriage is going to do? And, what's your definition of marriage? I also would want to know, what have you seen or experienced with people who are married? Who have you talked to that's been married?
Because that'll define your expectations.
Yeah, because many times, we did a workshop for Pastor Walitra where we did that thing on marriage, that many times you just come into it, not many times, every time you come into a relationship with whatever preconceived notions, whatever past experiences, whatever trauma, you bring it to the new relationship, and that's what you build and establish on.
Yeah, that's your
you need to talk to somebody to find out, what does marriage look like? What's it feel like? What's it supposed to smell like? Don't think you're going to be happy. We're just going to be happy. We're just happy. No.
And be careful as well. So all that's fact finding. So I don't know if you've ever done a research paper before. So when you do a research paper, like you have this topic or something, and then you go out on the internet, Google Scholar, wherever you go, and you start pulling all these resources, right? So I'm talking to my HBIU doctoral folks that we're working with right now. So you start pulling all these resources, and as you're looking through those resources, you're not going to use all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to use every piece of it. You're going to use put bits and pieces of that the resources together, and then what you're going to do is you're going to write your paper in your words. So why am I saying that? As you go out and you're contemplating getting married, and you go out and you talk to other married couples, or you see other married couples, and there's going to be pieces and bits that you pull from everyone, but you have to create your own pie.
That's right.
You got to write your own paper
all the time.
You got to write your own paper. You got to create your own pie. You can't expect what happens within your relationship to be a carbon copy of someone else's. Even if you have the same ingredients,
right?
Your pie is going to be different. So I want to caution you with that. Because the first time you get, you come from the honeymoon and it's marital bliss, and 2 days later, you're like, I can't stand him. I can't stand her.
Oh my God!
Right?
It was that quick, Lord Jesus.
But that's just a feeling about a thing that's happening.
About a thing.
And that's because you had a false expectation of what was supposed to happen, because probably you're setting your goals, your finish line based on someone else's, what you've seen in someone else's life.
Television too.
Yeah, the
you
media.
know, like sometimes, yeah, exactly. That's the reason we're having this conversation, because New posted a picture on Facebook, and we got like how many hundreds of likes just by the way we looked.
Right. It was a good picture.
And nothing's wrong with that.
It was a good picture.
The picture was a nice picture, and thank you.
Was it Rocky RDF?
That's right.
What is this thing called?
It was RM Photo Galleries that took our pictures.
And you can get that on Instagram.
So anyway, we look at that there and we assume because the picture looked good.
If you still want, put that in the chat so folks can see that.
Because the picture looked good, and yes, he's in Arizona.
Yeah.
And because the picture looked good, then we think then they're good.
Right.
But we are so easily fooled by the way things look. Because the way things look are not necessarily what's happening. You got to get behind.
Right.
You got to get behind the scenes. You got to have a conversation.
Right.
And so looks can be deceiving.
So when Kim asked, I asked Kim that question. That's the stuff she said. She asked it back to me, right? So my thing is, I think if you're contemplating getting married, then you have to really, really examine and think about what it is you think you alone, singly, are set to accomplish in this planet. So I think it's all about your purpose. I spoke at a church class. It's all about your purpose, baby. You know what you want to do. You want to be the baller, shot caller, brawler, flipping out. Instead of saying it's all about the Benjamins, baby, it's all about your purpose, baby. Everything that you do comes back to your purpose, right? So when you're thinking about getting married, you have to understand who and what you are. What am I going to accomplish? What's going to make me feel fulfilled? What's going to make me feel unfulfilled if I'm not doing it? Can this person,
there it is,
supplement that, complement that? Can they deal with that? Is that something? I know a young man who's an artist. He's very artistic, and he wants to go into artistic things. And the person that he really liked couldn't see that. So it was a big clash in the relationship.
Yeah.
And although we thought they were well together, that relationship dissolved.
And he knew it.
Yeah, he knew it, but we didn't, because it wasn't our purpose.
Right.
So when you're contemplating getting married, if that doesn't align.
Yep, that's the key.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about, you don't have to make that align. You don't have to make excuses for that.
Nope.
You don't have to set something up and say, well, maybe if I just deal with this or switch this or change that. That shouldn't be. When you have the opportunity before you get married to see, do we synergize? Does she or he compliment me?
Yeah.
Does she or he, what a buttress is? A buttress is those things on the outside of a building and kind of hold them up. So do they buttress me? Do they hold up my weak spot? Do they make me better, stronger? Will they help me grow and get as high and as great as I can be? And that's just from your side. Now, because you're going in a relationship, relay, I'm handing off something. You don't want to be parasitic. You don't want to be them to be parasitic to you, and you don't want to be parasitic to them.
Mhm.
So you have to look at it from the other side,
Mhm.
saying this: what can I do
Right.
to buttress? What do
Right.
I do
What
to
do I
buttress
bring
Kim?
to? Yeah.
How can I make Kim better
Right.
from the beginning? What do I bring to the table?
Now, mind you, not how can I change Kim?
No, not at all.
Not how can I change him?
Not at all.
But how can what I have
Yes.
fit that missing piece to help her?
And here's the.
Go ahead, you gotta
I gotta say it. I gotta say
You
it.
gotta say it.
Here's the controversy when we're speaking to folks, especially inside the church, because the scripture says, "Wives, submit to your own husband," or something like that, right? Right. But it doesn't necessarily say husbands submit to wives. But if you go up a couple verses before that, it says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church." And Christ submitted to the church.
That's what he did.
Gave up his life for the church.
That there is the
So
biggest submission ever.
He submitted to a thing that wasn't even there yet.
Mm-hmm.
There was no physical church organization on the planet, right? He submitted to something that wasn't there because he saw the potential in it. So as husbands, we see the potential in our wives. And we submit to that potential. We line up and do what we need to do, give what we need to give so that thing can grow and change lives. So why am I saying that to folks who aren't married yet? Because you got to think that way.
First, you need to have that conversation.
Yes.
Newt and I, when we first started dating, we were I think we went to Denny's. We were sitting there that day.
Yeah.
And we just were talking. He was asking me things about me. I was asking him things about him. That was the litmus, called litmus test.
Yeah, litmus test.
It was a litmus test. I was trying to see, he was trying to see if I wanted any kids, more kids, and I was trying to see if he did. Because I know I didn't, he didn't. Okay, that was like, whoop, good.
Because that would have been a deal breaker.
Yeah, deal breaker.
Because I wasn't.
I was already tied, clipped, and dipped. And what happened?
I was almost out.
But we didn't, but we never verbally said it. Because sometimes if you say it first, that person will say what you said just to get you. We just started talking. Wanted to know about your aspirations, what you wanted to do, what you wanted to do, you know, where you wanted to go, what things you have, you know, all of those things. It was just plain old
Especially in the beginning, because we got to go. But especially in the beginning, you guys, the person that you meet, that's that person's representative.
Yes, indeed. That's who they
it's
showing
not really
you.
who that person is.
Just showing you.
It's just their representative. They're putting their best foot forward. You know,
that's everything forward.
Teeth are clean and hair's combed. You know, shirt ain't wrinkled. You know, they're polite, opening the door. All these things because again, it's the outside appearance he's still trying to catch. You know what I mean? So you got to find a way to get under those layers. I was talking to somebody and said, well, you didn't understand they had a bad issue with a relationship. And I said, you didn't understand the character of the person. You were looking at their character traits. You were looking at the things.
The first one.
Yes, they made me feel. He's funny. He makes me feel good.
Okay, that's the initial.
Those are character traits.
Yeah, that's
right. I'm funny when something's funny. When it's not funny, I'm not funny. You know what I'm saying? That's a character trait. That's based on conditions. But listen, I am going to be. I'm caring. I'm just a caring person, right? And you know, that's not going to change. You know, whether the house is on fire or it's snow outside, you're
still going to be a caring person.
So you got to learn a person's character.
Got to look deeper.
You got to don't fall in love for their
Don't fall in anything.
Yeah, well,
do you remember the song from the Bee Gees? How deep is your love? Well, let me just say this to you. It should be deep. And I'm not talking about getting so caught up. I mean the love, the search of it. To find out a little bit more about that person. Right. How deep is your love? Find out what makes him tick, what things he likes, what's his goal, what's yours. Search, go a little deeper. Guys, we'll finish next week. Yes. We're going to stop right now.
What does happy mean to you?
What does it mean? Make sure you understand before you say it or before you try to walk in it.
So we hope you grab some more so you can take with you to educate yourself, motivate yourself, and help yourself grow. And as usual, my friends, please, please, please make it a great day.
Or not.
Because that choice is always yours.
All right, guys. See you next week.
You are tuned in to that praisey station, Praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Something happens when